daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Newcastle. My name's Iain Mackay. It's fallen to me, due to Michael's indisposition, to give you my instant match reaction after Newcastle have just finished playing away at the Hill Dickinson Stadium against Everton and played very, very well to land their first away win of the season in the Premier League. They won 4-1 and they were fantastic. My review was going to be slightly longer than that, although I think that encapsulates it. First of all, you're right. It's November the 29th, and I've got my Christmas jumper on. Too soon? But remember, you have to buy your Advent calendars to have them for the full Advent season by close of business tomorrow. Actually, I was in my shop this afternoon, and we're now on our Christmas run because the lights got turned on in Thirsk yesterday. So I've got to wear Christmas jumpers from now through till Christmas. It was quite appropriate watching Newcastle play Everton, as we'll get on to have a look at later on, because Everton were handing out gifts from the first minute to the last minute of the first half. We'll come on to it later on. First of all, this first part, let's talk about the team. And Eddie Howe's tough decision and the pressure from the fans actually was ducked. It didn't have to make a decision. Nick Pope injured himself in training yesterday, a groin issue, I think, so didn't travel with the squad. Aaron Ramsdale took over in goal, which is my goalkeeper choice. The back four was Livramento and Hall, as we thought, and my selection would have been Chow with Shah, but I did say I thought Eddie Howe would go Chow with Bird, and he did. We went for the 2 out of 3 for the midfield. We got Joelinton, we got Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, unexpectedly for me, although I don't know why. He can't play all of the games. He's got to sit some of them out. Tonali sat on the bench and watched up until the last couple of minutes. Lewis Miley came in. Lewis Miley played one of the best games I've seen him play for a long time, scoring and assisting the first 2 goals. And then up front, it was Barnes, of course, on the left, as we thought. Voltemada down the middle, as we thought. And Elanga in for, or instead of, Jacob Murphy. I was quite pleased to see Elanga. I thought that might have been a game which, with a big new pitch, etc., which gives him an opportunity. If we are going to hit on the counter-attack, which it looked like we were going to, it was suited to Elanga's game. And you know, as we will have a look at when we look at how the game unfolded, I think Elanga's pace was a useful weapon, certainly in that first half. So Newcastle lined up pretty much how I thought they might. Miley and for Tonali, really the only one we got wrong. But it was a lot of changes, and what a strong bench it looked. It meant that we had Murphy, Shah, Gordon, Tonali, all sitting on the bench, together with Willock and Ramsey as well. That is a strong bench. It's a great sign. It is a great sign that we've got a squad that can compete on all fronts this season. Now, a little bit of trepidation going into this game. Newcastle's away form has been poor in the Premier League, and although that fantastic performance that we basked in this time last week when we beat Manchester City at home, we hoped that we could bring that form away from St James's Park. Now, I was really encouraged, I think I said, about our performance when we played away at Marseille. I didn't let Nick Pope's aberration and Newcastle's complete shock in the first 5 minutes of the second half cloud how well I thought we played in the first half and for the last 20 minutes of the second half. I thought we played really, really well. It wasn't the same sort of performance that we put in when when we just caved submissively against Brentford, Brighton, and West Ham. And I think the difference really is the two fullbacks, which seem to get us up the pitch a lot quicker, and we can play our football 10, 15 yards higher up. We're not losing the ball on the halfway line and immediately going under pressure, which is what we tended to do, playing away, certainly the last 3 games away from home in the Premier League. So, today's performance, I thought, was truly wonderful from start to finish, from Aaron Ramsdale through to Harvey Barnes. I thought the whole of the Newcastle team played very, very well. So after the international break and that reset, perhaps, maybe it's on. Maybe it's on. That's the first time this season we've run consecutive games in the Premier League. It's meant that we have jumped up to 11th as it stands, and that's half of the team still to play tomorrow. We've gone above Liverpool, but we've jumped up to 11th in the league. And I'm just looking forward to this time next week about where we might be in that league table. If we can manage 2 home wins against Tottenham and Burnley. I've seen us beat Tottenham at home already this season, and I would hope that we'd have too much for Burnley, newly promoted side. 24 points. 24 points puts us in second, I think, at the moment. But anyway, let's see how that all works out. I don't want to get too far ahead. I will let Ken pause the first part of this podcast and come back and we'll have a look at how the game unfolded.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN 2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
It means right now. Part 2, the game. Earlier in the afternoon, I had tuned in to listen to Manchester City score. After 59 seconds, Phil Foden scored within the first minute to set a new record for the fastest goal in the Premier League this season. It was more than I could have hoped for that Newcastle will break that record just a couple of hours later on, but we did. It was an excellent hold up and slip through in the first 20 seconds from Nick Valdemara. We really saw Alanga's pace as he burns his way past the fullback. Had a shot on target after 20 seconds. Not a brilliant shot on target, but shot on target, which Pickford pushed behind for a corner. Miley went over to take the corner and arrowed in an absolutely beautiful ball, dipping and swerving in under the bar. Malik Chow rose and glanced the ball in. Pickford, no chance. Newcastle 1-0 after 52 seconds, I think it was, setting a new record for the fastest goal in the Premier League. Incredible. Now, we've seen that before in previous games. The last 3 away games, we've taken the lead and backed off, sat back. The difference today was that Newcastle didn't really sit back. They were happy to go back to the 5-4-1 and let Everton pass the ball in front of them to try and find a way through, but they looked very, very secure. Hall was excellent in playing the little triangles with Joe Linton, with Barnes, to bring the ball away from the left-hand side when they'd win it back. On the right-hand side, Livramento was, well, I mean, he marked Grealish out of the game, really, didn't he? Ably backed up in the first half by Lewis Miley dropping back and doubling up on him. Grealish didn't get away very much. Once or twice he did, balls that were crossed and cut out or knocked off for a corner. But Grealish is the guy who has created the most goal-scoring opportunities in the Premier League this season. And I'm struggling to remember any goal-scoring opportunities that he created. Great player. Looked good. Everton looked good in that first half when it was just 1-0. But Newcastle looked very, very secure. Malik Chow was his usual Rolls-Royce self, even more confident than usual, probably because of his first goal ever for Newcastle. Dan Burn, he's like a brick wall in the centre of defence when the ball's getting knocked in. Everton do favour going down the side and putting a ball into the box for Barry, I think it was, to challenge as a typical number 9. That poor guy works hard, has worked hard, holds the ball up quite well, played 11 times now, hasn't scored. And he looked like he desperately needs a goal, that lad, but I wasn't complaining. In midfield, Bruno was disciplined, uh, flanked by Joe Linton and Miley. They were excellent at winning the ball back and keeping possession to bring the ball out of defence slowly and tie up Everton. And of course, we did keep going on the counter-attack and breaking away. And then when recycling it, if we could keep it back, we kept the pressure on. And it was from a breakout like that we did break away. Couldn't get across the first time. The second time, rather fortunately, Tino Livramento's wild swipe, I think it was a shot, was going to go out for a throw-in. Dan Burns stretches out one of his telescopic legs and hits it back into the centre of the box. And it's Lewis Miley who strides up, and it's an awkward ball. He hits it into the ground. He hits it hard enough, straight at Pickford. Somehow, I think Tarkowski, because Pickford was arguing with Tarkowski afterwards, I think Tarkowski flapped a sort of back heel at it to try and block it. Didn't touch it. The ball dipped after spinning off the top of the ground and kind of squirmed its way right through Pickford's legs, right in the centre of the goal. He should have been able to stop it. If he tried to trap it, he would have stopped it, but he didn't. He seemed to try and wanting to push it away. I think he thought Miley was going to hit it better than he actually did. Anyway, it went in. It was 2-0. And we sat back again and controlled things. All the way through this first half, while Everton had twice as much possession as we had, they didn't really create very much. Gave a few corners, snuffed a few chances out and gave corners away and then cleared the corners. It was a really controlled performance. Right through to injury time in the first half. It's another fast, long ball, which Everton are terrible at trying to cut out. They let the ball bounce. Alanga's speed, he nips in, gets the ball, almost overhits it, but is able to stretch and just tip it through to Voltemada, who's got time to take a touch. And as he sees Pickford racing out to try and smother it, a delightful Mickey-taking lob into the corner of the goal. And Newcastle go in winning 3-0 at half-time. I can't believe it. I am still crossing my mind that time we came back to get a draw off Arsenal when they were 4 up and thinking, Everton don't have enough players to be able to do that, do they? Do they? But we had been so much in control. It was a really, really assured performance. The second half was very much more of the same. Try to remember what the fourth goal was. It was another Chow one, wasn't it? Yeah, we'd had a really good attack that just didn't quite come off for us. So Pickford makes a save. The ball is recycled back to Lewis Hall, who puts an absolutely glorious cross into the back post, curling away from Pickford, who's half come for it, and Malik Chow leaps like a salmon this time and heads the ball in to make it 4-0 after about an hour. And that was it, really. Newcastle were knocking the ball around really, really well. Everton did have the ball in the net when this aforementioned Barry finally got the better of Dan Burn, but the ball hit his arm as it bounced down, and when he put it in, by falling backwards and slicing it, so Ramsdale had no idea where it was going, but it did creep in. But anyway, VAR overturned it because you can't score if you've scored directly from your own, even accidental handball. So that was correctly disallowed. They scored a pretty good goal quickly after our fourth goal. What's he called? The double-barreled guy, Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall picked the ball coming down out of the air really well, controlled it well, took it between Livramento and Chow, I think, controlled it and put it into the bottom corner. Very good goal, but really too little too late. Even I wasn't worried that they were going to come further back. We made a few substitutions. I think it was the two wide men that came off, and Willock and Ramsey came on. Hall not clicking as well with Ramsey as he had done with Joe Linton and Barnes, but I guess that's just experience of playing with each other. And I thought Willock looked athletic again, which is good. I mean, coming on to give a rest to some of these players when we're already won the game, which is excellent. There was an opportunity, I'm sure, when the next substitutions were made with injury time and 2 minutes to go. I mean, it's powerful seeing Tonali, Shah, and Gordon coming on. But we had Alex Murphy, we had Sean Neve on the bench. Surely that was a perfect opportunity to give these guys a little bit of Premier League experience. We're 4-1 up, and we've all seen that Anthony Gordon can't play against Everton, can't play centre forward. So why not bring Sean Neve on to replace Nick Voltemada and give the lad a bit of encouragement? I mean, if he's sitting on the bench, surely he's okay to come on for the last 5-10 minutes. I'd love to see Alex Murphy get some time as well. Not that I want to be predicting doom on the injury front, but it is a bit worrying that Sven Botman sat the last couple of games out with a bang on his knee. And if Sven Botman's out for any length of time, we've got Dan Burn to play on the left side of centre half. I know Shah can do that as well, but Murphy plays the left side of centre back. So I think there was an opportunity there to give these two young lads some first team experience in a controversial. It wouldn't have mattered. It didn't really matter. Not at 4-1. Everton were a beaten team by then. But anyway, we didn't. We brought the big guns on. Tonali was industrious. Anthony Gordon, can't remember him even having a kick, to be honest. That might be harsh. And Shah came on and allowed Dan Burn to go over to left back and let Lewis Hall come off for a bit of a rest, which is good. These guys need a rest. I'm hoping to see hoping to see Livramento and Hall start against Burnley as well, against Tottenham, when we go on Tuesday. So, fabulous game. I'm not sure who you could say would be man of the match. Probably had to be Malik Chow. Boring, because he's been man of the match in 2 or 3 of the last 5 games as well. But he scored twice, and he was very assured at centre back. I mean, noteworthy performances. I thought Livramento, Mark, and Grealish out of the game was wonderful defensive performance, and still found enough time to run forward and play inside right half of the time. Hall was equally as good coming forward on the other side. We look potent, and we scored 4. We scored 4 goals in the first hour when we'd scored 3 goals in the first 7 games. That is the difference these centre halves make. Anyway, good selection from Eddie. Great performance from the boys. The crowd were noisy all of the way through. Obviously, Everton fans were a bit glum. Did see some of them starting to go home after an hour. But the Newcastle crowd sang loud and proud all the way through the game, which is what you want to see. That's probably enough for this instant reaction. I'm thrilled to bits that we appear to be on the up. We've moved into level on points with the top half of the table. We've got 2 home games to come in the next week. I am very excited to see where we are if we can win both of those, because I think we might then be up in European places, which will give us a little bit of a fillip for the next European game. But the team looks good. I hope it is really the first step on the long, straight run of victories after we have turned the corner. Anyway, I'm your host, Iain Mackay. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you think I missed anybody out for specific praise, or do you think I'm being too much of a happy clapper because Everton had a lot of the ball in the first half, let me know in the comments. I think there's more than just me coming back to have a proper review of this game tomorrow, and we look forward to seeing you there. Have a great day.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.